Hey all, it's Harmon again, and welcome to part 2 of our Getting Started with RPG Maker. Alright, so we have had the first little battle take place. Now we're going to want to explore a little more functionality with the basic RPG Maker setup. So, first things first is we've covered how to do events, and we have the ability to end the game from our sample. So let's just go ahead and click. Alright, so instead of having something like this game over, let's go ahead and delete that for this part. And now we're going to want this character to move out of the way. Alright, so now instead of it, we're going to want them to set the movement route. And up here in this menu, we'll go make sure it's this event. Selecting this event or battle will still work. Alright, so let's have them move up, and let's take a quick preview of that. So we know that they're going to keep moving, so we need to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, at least probably 5 more up. Nope, hit too far. So let's just go ahead and delete that, and preview. This is a great way just to see what kind of movement that you're going to see with characters. All right, and let's let them get out of our path. So it's always in the direction you're facing. So let's have them go to the right too. All right, and then we're going to want them to at least probably turn left just so they're facing the direction. So instead of movement, just go into this middle column for turn. Okay. Now we're going to hit apply. So we're not quite done yet. This is just how to make sure we properly close an event out. Now we're going to want to do is create a self switch. So this event triggers by the player hitting the action button. So let's say at the end of the event, we're going to go back to tab 1 and find control self switch and have A be on. Now next we're going to do is that in this event page, we're going to hit new event page. So we see we've gone from 1 to 2. Now, it's important to note that RPG Maker always defaults to the highest event page. So really what we'd be seeing right now if we tried to play is this blank screen. So we're going to want to keep the image of this person. And then we're going to make sure this self-switch A box is checked. So it'll only go to this after this event is triggered. All right, we have checkmark self switch A being on. Now I am up here. Again, we'll just do that. And we'll add their face in. Okay, nothing will really happen other than the player will just keep talking to it, but let's go and see what else we got. So we now have some transitions up on this map, and it's a great way to start up a little shop or whatever else we're going to want to do. So tell you what, just for the purpose of these intro makers, let's get into putting a blocker. I don't know. This knight character looks fine. 4 now. There we go. This knight character right here. Perfect. All right, and let's just go ahead and reinforce what we just learned too. Let's go ahead and create a new event page. We'll make sure self switch A has to be turned on. And we'll go to, and let's just add some more text here. I already said you weren't getting through. Okay, now our player will keep saying that, and we'll just leave this as is. So, now we have in here, we have another ability to go and transfer in. We know we're not getting any further into this sample town right now with our blocker event, and this NPC should be blocking here. So let's go ahead and set up a shop of some kind. So we could see that in the forest town there is. So let's go do what we did last time for some more reinforcement. We're going to load a sample map. And let's just go down here and try and find a shop of some kind. That's a house. We're getting closer. All right, close enough. Item shop it is. All right, remember, because we selected this map and put new, and if we want a bigger map in the overworld, we need to make sure we go into here. But this works perfectly for what we want to do. All right, now what we're going to want to have happen is we're going to create a shopping event. Now, the good news is that we can do it kind of like we did in the last video of a quick event creation. So I'm selecting right above this bench. Quick event creation. Door, transfer, treasure in, or switch. So sorry, I'm a little bit ahead of myself, and this happens sometimes on these videos. Let's go ahead and do two different ones. First, let's do a quick event creation like I was about to do, but let's just call it a treasure. I don't know, gold, 500. And we see that the treasure chest is already right there. As we created that, now see, it does everything that we did. We have 500 gold being found, and then it leaves this open picture afterwards. So it's done everything for it. This movement route just will show the actual image changing in RPG Maker, so it's telling it to function this way. So we now have 500 gold. Now as I select into here, we'll call it shop. Let's just go to people. There we go. So we've just created her as a character for this reason. So let's do that, and then this can get confusing, and it's probably best that I'm doing it. So I'm going to rename this. All right, so for this event, now it's the shop. We're set it to below characters, and we'll just do player touch for right now. Here we go to shop processing. Merchandise, we can select all our available items. So let's just do potion. And there's a standard price option or a specify price option. All right, let's just select a super weapon. We're just going to specify 400. And then there's our purchase only or sell option. So we're just going to leave that unchecked for now. Now, we can also set some conditions for it. Let's make sure that our players actually step in or collect the treasure chest. Let's do new, and let's go down to a very often used conditional branch. So we can do this by actor, enemy, character, vehicle, or gold. So if the gold is greater than or equal to 500, we can do that or create else branch. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this and just hold down my mouse, put them right there. Let's just show text telling our player what to do. You need money to shop. Okay. So, we have the ability to go buy, and that will be our shopping ability. If the player steps on it. There's also the ability just to talk to the shopkeeper and keep that. Sometimes that can get a little bit messy. So really, it's just how you want it. In this case, well, let's also do that after they've purchased it. Let's go and add one movement route. Player, move one step backwards. Oh. There we go. All right. Let's test out our game right now. All right, we can see that our player is walking up. All right, let's go ahead and save. All right, what did we obviously do wrong? I say we. It's just me, and that's okay. I made the map without remembering to do the transfer. So I like to show these videos when I do make mistakes because it just happens. It's a great way to troubleshoot real quick. Okay. The door, all we need to do is on the action button, we just transfer the player. We select back in, and let's go into the item shop. Now, just as a good rule of thumb, make sure you set it out so this square right here will be where we transfer the player back. So we want to transport the player right here. And then in the item shop, we'll just make sure we transfer the player back into the forest town. All right, now we'll hit continue in this case. I'll just hit this optimize button for right now. Okay, so now that leaves our players in. That's going to be enough for this video lesson for getting started. In the next video, we'll go and cover the bigger events and stuff, but we've done a little bit more. We've set movement routes, and we've gone a little further with our editor. Now, in the next video, just join me as we go explore the database and we build more stuff out. All right, everybody, thanks for watching. Happy gaming.